With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.
Salam and welcome to the Single Muslim Live, sponsored by SingleMuslim.com with me, Nazia Khatun. We are live here on Sky 752 and across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Wherever you're watching, a very warm welcome. You too can join in tonight's discussion and get advice by simply calling through to the studio on 0192 23083. Standard rates apply, so please make sure you have the bill of the phone bill payer. I forgot what I was going to say. Permission before callings, and why not share your thoughts via WhatsApp in confidence by messaging us on 07950 797 017. Finally got there. Tonight's guest is someone I adore on social media. His name is Kaan, and the topic is finding love through fitness. So, guys, please welcome Adam. Adam, are you there?
Yeah. Hi. Hello, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show, and thank you so much for doing this. I'm actually really excited to speak to you. I think this is the first time we're actually engaging on this topic. Before we get in, what made you choose fitness, Adam? Give us a bit of your background and what made you choose this path.
Oh, are you ready for it? It's a long one. Well, actually, there's actually two main reasons. So I was really ill when I was 15. From the age of 15 to 20, I was really ill with TB. And when you lose something, then you appreciate its value. So I was really ill with TB. I was hospitalized, and I was bedbound for even a few months. And then when I was at that stage, I made a promise to myself and to God that if I got better, I would value my health. So to cut a long story short, and you can find the full details on my blog, around the year 2000, I recovered. And after I recovered, I was always severely underweight. But after I recovered, I started gaining some weight. So the doctor said it was fantastic. It was great that I was gaining some weight. However, that's spiraled out of control, and I started gaining more and more weight. Then I became fat. So I had a friend who was into the gym, and he encouraged me to get into the gym. And I went with him once, and I caught the bug. But it took him like 3 or 4 months of convincing. So once again, to cut a long story short, I got into the gym and I caught the bug. I went crazy with it. Lost the weight. Then I got married, had kids, and even though I was training and I thought I was eating healthily, I started gaining weight again. And then around 2012, I got divorced. And when I got divorced, I was 32. I got divorced, and despite training and what I thought was eating healthy, I looked like a typical 30-something-year-old pot-bellied Uncle G, and divorced pot-bellied Uncle G, despite training and stuff. So, and when you have a divorce, you kind of reevaluate and assess your situation, and you tend to evaluate everything. So, at that point, I wanted to take control of my life again and health, and be presentable in order to find a match. And since we're on Single Muslims, and I was actually on Single Muslims as well. And in order to be able to find the perfect match, I lost weight and made myself presentable.
Right. Okay. I mean, I want to stop you there. There's so much here. I want to go back to when you were a teenager. As a young boy going through your teenage years, how did the illness impact your self-image at that young age?
Well, it made me very, very self-conscious. And to this day, I still have some remnants of that. So I lost a couple of discs in my neck through TB. Um, and so it was, and I had to wear a neck brace and things like that. So I was very, very self-conscious being ill.
Right. I mean, then you mentioned you've got a brilliant story. I didn't know anything about you until now. Being divorced can have a lot of mental health issues as well for people to recover. And you said you were still quite overweight with a pot belly while you were married and after divorce as well. How did you make the transition to actually get fit? And you mentioned that you were on Single Muslim as well. Why was that important as well?
Well, chemistry is important. As we know, and especially, when you've gone through a divorce, your confidence is very low, and you want to. It's like, I guess, how females when they split up, they get a haircut and dye their hair and stuff like that. So I suppose it's similar kind of concept with men. We want to change something about us. Maybe I to be honest, I don't know the deeper reason why we do it, but we do. So it's to have confidence and be able to meet somebody again and be able to present yourself to that potential significant other. Oh yeah, so in order to meet a significant other and feel confident, because when you meet somebody, if you are lacking in confidence, that obviously can be a massive turnoff for the other person. So fitness helps you with all those things. Yeah, so fitness helps you with all those things. So in 2012, when I got divorced, I was overweight, and even though I'd been training for many, many years and I thought I was eating healthy, I still didn't have the physique that I was looking for. So around that time, I went on quite a quest, if you will, to find out what it is, what's the secret to weight loss. And because I tried dieting and I tried all of the other fads and gimmicks, and nothing seemed to work. So I went on this deep research and discovered the secret to weight loss. And since then, I managed to lose weight and keep it off. And I've been helping. About 3 years ago, I qualified as a personal trainer, and since then, I've been helping others to do the same. So around 3 years ago, I qualified as a personal trainer. And then about 2 years ago, I started my online weight loss coaching, Fit Dad Life Mastery. And since then, I've been helping dads lose weight and men in their 40s and 30s look better than their 20-year-old selves. And using a really simple process where they don't have to cut out curries or carbohydrates or do long hours of training in the gym. And I've been quite successfully running that and growing that since. So in terms of finding a partner, how fitness can be important is, as we've said, chemistry is important, but not just that. I believe if you have things that you do together, it can enhance the relationship. So like my wife and I, we prepare meals together, and a man knowing how to cook definitely helps in a relationship. And then just going out for walks, hiking, training, and doing things together helps couples bond. And generally having energy and feeling good about yourself helps you to just have a better relationship, in the sense that if say for example, say couples tend to sometimes bicker over petty things. However, when you exercise and you feel better and calmer, then it's easy to avoid the kind of bickering that can sometimes happen over petty things, because you feel better and you don't make a mountain out of a molehill, as opposed to when you're feeling cranky and edgy, you can sometimes make a mountain out of a molehill over little things. Oh, you're back, Nazia.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're gonna go to a break now, so please join us in 2 minutes.
With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live. With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.
And welcome back. Apologies for the first segment. We would love to hear from you. Please make sure you message us your questions, any advice, maybe even the struggles you've had with your self-esteem, your confidence when it came to finding love. We want to hear from you, so message us on 079 797 017. Adam, thank you so much for just filling us in. I want to really go in. So give me an experience, or an example actually is a better word, of where you struggled maybe finding love, and how was the experience when you became the best version of yourself mentally and physically?
Well, to be honest with you, I struggle because, as with many people, I maybe had high expectations, too many high expectations. But otherwise, in terms of being able to meet people, I never really have that problem. I've always been quite a sociable person. However, being confident in myself and having a good body image, and knowing that it's going to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet, and knowing that I've got a decent physique, and putting that out there and getting positive feedback, if you will, obviously that definitely helped. So when I said I was on Single Muslim, so so I was on Single Muslims in 2012, and I met quite a few potential wives, suitors, however you like to define it. And when I went out to meet them, I was confident. I was confident once again because of the fitness, being fit, being quite healthy, being in a decent having a decent physique gave me that confidence. And had I not had that, I may have lacked in confidence, and once again, I think a lack of confidence isn't attractive, especially when you go to somebody. As I suppose as a female, if you met somebody, a male, and it didn't come across confident, I think you'd find that unattractive. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you've made a really good point there, because we don't really speak about the things that are people struggling with. Like, for example, when I'm out of shape and I've gone out to meet people, I don't feel confident. I don't feel like I'm worthy of, we're humans. We want to naturally feel like we're being liked straight away. We want to feel like we're attractive to the other person. And if we were really, really honest, social media and the way social media, the profiles are angled when they wait because they're not confident. They try to hide themselves. It's the angles that we position ourselves. Therefore, like, in conclusion to what some of the things you said, I really feel like our self-image is crucial to maybe enhancing or elevating in our relationships or marriage. What do you think? What would your opinion be on that one?
Definitely. Definitely. Having a positive self-image, and also just having feeling good about yourself. You project that onto other people, and if you feel negative, sometimes you can project that as well. So having a positive self-image can definitely enhance the marriage, and just being fit and healthy can enhance it, in many different ways. When you have positive energy, when you have energy and you have positive energy and you feel good, that is contagious, just like negativity can be contagious. And chemistry, and all those things, and just having energy for your partner, and being able to spend quality time together, and do things as couples, certainly benefits the marriage. I mean, a lot of my clients tell me that they find that their marriage has benefited. If you go on my profile, I posted something today where a client of mine said that he started eating healthy, and once again, one of my unique selling points is that the foods and everything that I recommend, the Asian foods, they're not very different to what you'd already be eating. The flavorful Asian foods, and the typical belief is that when you are trying to lose weight, you have to eat all these boring, bland foods. So, and when I introduced them to a lot of the recipes that I have, the guys enjoy it, the wives taste it, and they enjoy it. So then the husband and wife start losing weight. But then, when their wives get involved, they start going out together, going hiking, going walking, and things like that. And they find that helps them bond. And even as I mentioned earlier, like with my wife, I'll do some meal prep and she'll help me out, and vice versa. And plus, when I was learning to cook healthy, or when I was learning to cook and cook healthy, it gave me that skill to be able to cook. So because I'm able to cook, and I'm quite handy in the kitchen, I can help my wife out, and that adds value to the relationship, from my part.
That is the key word, is value. When you yourself as a partner isn't well, and you're unwell because you haven't exercised, you're not doing the mandatory compulsory things that you need to function, you're now doing a disservice to your partner and their needs and their desires. So adding value is so important that we remember this from what you just speak about. If you can take anything away, is how can you elevate yourself as an individual to add value in that marriage and that relationship. Thank you so much for that, Adam. We have a few questions, and I really want to answer the first one here, or ask the first one here is, Adam is a weight loss coach. My question is, as Ramadan is nearby, how can I lose some stomach belly fat without exercising? Over to you. This is Shine.
So, it's going to come as a surprise that majority of my clients, I'd say it's about 70%, don't exercise at all. Even though I encourage it, and exercise is fantastic for your mental health, for your well-being, just how you feel about yourself. And if anybody listening or watching can try this, like just do 15 minutes exercise in the morning and see how well your day goes. You'll feel more productive. You have much better clarity of thought. So exercise is fantastic, and it's great for those things and improving your health. However, exercise is not actually required for weight loss. It only contributes to about 5% of your total calorie expenditure. So you can lose weight without exercising. You need to be in a calorie deficit. And the way you would do that is obviously selecting nutritious foods that are lower in calories, and controlling your portions, and avoiding snacking, and minimizing your consumption of junk food. Ramadan is perfect for that, because in order to lose weight, you need to get into a calorie deficit. And in Ramadan, it makes it easy because we won't be eating for 18 hours or so. So to get into a calorie deficit is very easy in Ramadan. You just have to be much more wiser with your food choices at suhoor and at iftar. I do have a 3,000 word blog post on my website. And that goes into extreme detail, tells you everything you need to do, including exercise. But once again, like I said, you don't need to exercise if you don't want to. Get into a calorie deficit and you'll lose belly fat. Hope that answers your question.
I mean, this is like news to everybody who's watching. I don't need to exercise. I can, yeah. They're probably thinking, I don't need to exercise. Amazing. But the point Adam is making here is very important. Is you have to go on a calorie deficit. You have to plan your meals. You have to understand it's not like magic. There's no magic pill out there. So just to make sure you guys get that, you still have to focus on the diet, which is actually more than 80% that contributes to your weight loss or your weight gain. Okay, thank you. My next question, somebody just commented saying, Alhamdulillah, you recovered in the year 2000. And yeah, I mean, look at you, Adam. You're like a miracle. You're definitely somebody that will inspire other men as well in the South Asian Muslim community. So thank you for that, whoever sent that message. The next question is, how do I approach a lady who I never met if I've seen her running around? For example, she might not be Muslim. Okay, let's ask it a better way. How does a man approach a woman that he likes? What will be the best way to do it?
Just strike up a conversation, really. You'd have to find, but don't make it very obvious that it has to be. It has to be. What's the word I'm looking for now? It can't be obvious that you're trying to strike up a conversation. It has to be situational. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm not an expert on meeting women, but this is how I would do it.
I'll answer that actually. I think as a woman, we like very direct approaches. It's the person that is very certain about themselves. And I think, again, it's about how confident you are in your image, because self-image literally has a huge impact on people approaching people that they like or they want to approach. So it all goes back to what your point was about using fitness as a way of increasing your confidence. And then that will increase the chances of you asking somebody else out or, approaching them.
Yeah. So, right? I mean, I'll add to that, Naz. So when I was on Single Muslim, right, I had some decent images, and it was obvious that I didn't have topless pictures or anything like that, like I do on my fitness pages.
Yeah.
But it was obvious that I had a decent physique, and I had a rule on Single Muslims, guys. If you're on here, don't send a million messages out to a million women, right? So I never sent messages out. I just did not send messages out. I would. So when you're asking how do you approach a woman, I don't often do the approaching. So I would only respond to messages. So I would just have this, because I knew, and other women told me that they get bombarded with hundreds of messages a day, right? Mm-hmm. And if you are going to send a message, you need to find a way of standing out from the crowd. Mm-hmm. And you have to be sometimes a little bit quirky and confident. Mm-hmm. You have to come across confident and approach it differently. But generally, they're getting hundreds of messages a day. How are you going to stand out? So present yourself in a way, and once again, it can be used in marketing. We call it, the attraction marketing. So you attract the customer or the consumer to you. So in this case, you have to present yourself in a manner that makes you attractive, that attracts the person to you rather than you having to go after them.
Right. Yes.
And the best way is through. Come on, Nazia. Best way you can do that is through. Losing weight, looking good.
all of that stuff. We are going to be going on a break shortly, Adam. Thank you for answering some of those questions. Please make sure you take the time out today to message us if you guys have any questions about fitness, love, Ramadan, whatever it is, on 07950797017. And we shall see you in a very short while.
With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live. With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.
Welcome back, and the topic is finding love, and we're talking a lot about fitness. Can fitness help you find love? Adam, I want to come back to you very quickly. A lot of people are struggling with finding love at the moment. Why do you think that is?
Difficult question. Well, I think, and this is a personal opinion, I think it's high expectations, and what we're trying to do, I think, people that are probably in their 30s, I can't speak for the really younger generation, but people who are closer to me, I'm 41 by the way, and so people in their mid 30s and maybe late 30s, I think the issue we can have is we're trying to balance a number of expectations. So we have our cultural expectations of, like, for example, maybe some guys still want their wives to live with their parents. So a lot of women aren't prepared to do that in this day and age. Then there's religious expectations, and then there's societal expectations. So for somebody maybe closer to my age, might be trying to balance all of these different expectations, and it can make it very, very difficult. Plus, I mean, just generally, I think society has changed a lot, and there's so many challenges and obstacles that we have today that we never had maybe 15, 20 years ago. So that's just my little 2 cents on it. But I'm not an expert on this, so I'm expert on fitness, but not so much on relationships.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're on point about so many of the points you just made. And I think 15 years ago, it was just very simple, right? We just got on with it. Now that we have what we call instant gratification from the click of a phone, we have a lot of choice. Again, it's complicated. And I want to now go on to this other point. We don't speak a lot about delicate issues when it comes to South Asian men looking for love, okay? In our community, there's a very repressed kind of topic as well. How do you help men through your fitness program to, I mean, I'm not saying we get rid of that idea, but how do you get them to come out of their shell to actually express themselves in relationships, or even when they're going through the process of looking for love?
I think, see, my program is really, really comprehensive. So we have, I spent a lot of time, and a large portion of it is on mindset. And that aspect of mindset, because when it comes to weight loss, right, one of the biggest obstacles and hurdles that we need to overcome is mindset, right? We're living in an information age. Information is everywhere. And that's also a reason why a lot of people won't buy into any program, because they think, oh, we can get everything for free. So if we're living in this information age and there's all of this masses of information, why can't people get the results that they want? And it's down to mindset. So I spend a large amount of time on rewiring, if you will, or reprogramming the mindset. So when that happens, and when people lose weight, they automatically feel confident, and it automatically helps them in all areas of life. It literally permeates everything. And in the process of getting them to their goal of weight loss, that the rewiring of the mindset that takes place, that will also help them in talking to a potential, a potential wife, communication, just feeling better about themselves, changing their perspective, going from my cup's half empty to my cup's half full mentality will help them along in their relationships and everything else.
Yeah. I think the fitness and connecting relationships is so important. I'm going to quickly see if we have a caller on the show. Hi, assalamu alaikum. Hello. Hi, walaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, welcome to the show and thank you for taking the time out. What is your question, my love?
I just wanted to say that, see, when the brother like yourself, Adam, was saying when to approach a woman, I think nowadays a woman would be terrified. She'd be like, what's that weirdo trying to speak to me? You would think he's, because of what's going on in the world right now, because women are kind of terrified with men as well, the way men behave. But then again, I wanted to also say, as a Muslim for myself, I've been with somebody for 21 years. I met him when I was 17, and I'm 39 now, but we still have our fights now and again, and he says to me, oh, you're not acting so feminine anymore. You're not, as if cooking and cleaning is feminine. Do you know what I mean? But I think the roles are changing because we live in a different world, and sometimes you don't want to cook and clean. You just want to do other things. Do you know what I mean? So, not that you don't look after the household, but I think that's dying off because men are behaving like women and women are behaving like men. So as a Muslim, I'm trying to get a balance and stick to being Lady Fatima and behaving like Mary a wee bit. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
I love you. I love you. Thank you so much. But Adam, before you say anything, you made a very valid point about females not living in their feminine energy. And again, I feel like females have it hard now in society as well. And I'm sure I can appreciate men do. We have to take on a lot of roles. So we step into our masculine roles, which then emasculates a man in a relationship. Thank you so much for that call. That's an amazing question or statement as well. What do you think about the feminine and the masculine, and how can we integrate that with the fitness element as well?
One of the things that I teach a lot of the guys, and I think they find a lot of value in that, is men learning to cook. So I highly encourage men to be able to cook. And I once again, many years ago, I used to think that men don't need to learn to cook, and it's a very unpopular opinion that it's a female thing. However, I've completely, after my divorce and everything else, I completely changed the way I think on this. And I think now, in order to be an alpha male, you need to be able to cook, and being able to look after yourself and do things yourself and not be dependent on your wife actually makes you alpha, not the other way around. So I think a lot of men add value to their relationships, and their wives thank me for it as well, that their fellas are able to cook.
I mean, I can talk from my own experience as well, just going off from that point. I used to be very much involved in fitness, being a boxer, and I didn't know how to switch from my masculine energy to my feminine energy. And I think every time I got to know somebody on dating sites or even for a cup of coffee, I was too boisterous. Now I know better. But it's something also we need to teach our young generation or people who are actually going out looking for love, especially coming out of lockdown. So it's a lot I think we can talk about this for ages. Okay, I'm going to move on quickly because time is flying by. Male body and confidence. Can you give us an insight of the South Asian community, because you deal with them a lot? What are the struggles that Asian men are going with their body and their confidence levels? I know you picked on it a little bit.
Well, generally, it's a taboo subject for men. A lot of Asian men tend to be in denial, and they have a macho thing about them, and they tend to be in denial. It's only when I build rapport with them, and dig deep, and they feel confident in speaking to me, do they start to kind of open up about these things. And once again, on the program, I tend to ask some deep questions, like, if you had no limits, where would you be, or what would you do, or who would you be, or what would you become if you had no limits? And then I ask questions in relation to how their weight has held them back. And it's strange, but quite often they've never thought about it. They've never actually thought about it till that point. And when they do think about it, honestly, some really, really deep things come out. So one brother who was quite high up in some charity, and he's a fundraiser, and he used to always be at social events, or raising funds, and very sociable. As he gained weight over the years, he noticed that he was, but at the time he didn't notice. But after these questions, he said that he noticed that he was withdrawing slowly. He was fading into the background, and he never quite put his finger on it until we went through this process where I dug deep. And then he goes, "Do you know what? It kind of hit me that I was actually fading into the background because I was conscious of my weight. I didn't know it at the time that it was because of my, his body image, but standing in front of a crowd, I felt people were judging me, people were looking at me, and so I would start making excuses for turning up, for not turning up at events, and this kind of proliferated to the point where I found myself that I was completely started to become isolated, and it was complete contrast to how he was previously. And similarly, somebody else in quite a high up career, he said that he stopped trying to seek promotion, because if he sought promotion, it would mean that he has to give more presentations and be in front of a large audience. And he was thinking that, look, how can this guy lead an organization or do this project that requires a lot of energy, and it needs somebody who's got a lot of energy, drive, and all the rest of it, when he looks like that? If he's 5-6 stones overweight, like, how can he have the energy, or how can he manage this when, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, or whether it's, and you shouldn't judge people like that, but people, and whether it's right or wrong, these are the thoughts that individuals are having. But having said that, I get a lot of messages from guys who tell me that they're not overweight. So I had one recently, and this is quite common. So the brother said to me, he's similar height to me. I'm 5'7", and at my ideal weight, if I was completely had no muscle, nothing, I'd be about 69 kg. So this brother told me he's sorry,
I want you to hold that story right there. Unfortunately, we have to go on a break very soon. So just hold your thought there. I want you to come back to that. We're coming into the last segment of our show today, and time is flying by. Please make sure you join us, and make sure you call or text us on 079 50797 017, and we shall see you very shortly for the last segment.
With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live. With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.
Welcome back, and we're going to whisk through this last segment. Please make sure you message us on 079 50797 017. And thank you to everybody who's texted. We're trying to answer as many as we can. But Adam.
Yes.
The conversation was about this guy that came to you that's 15 stone. We were talking about male body image issues in the South Asian community. Please carry on telling that story.
Yeah, so I had a brother who messaged me. He's my height and he's 15 stones. And his message started off with, "I'm not overweight." Now, at 15 stones, you're overweight. But that's not an isolated message. I get quite a few messages like that. So obviously, you can't say to somebody, "Oh, but you're overweight." So I said, "Look, what's your BMI?" And he said, "Oh, I don't know," and stuff like that. But I get quite a few Asian males like that who are 4, 5 stones overweight. They're in the category of seriously at risk from serious disease, diabetes, heart disease, strokes, and all that stuff. But they don't think they're overweight. And they're in denial. And so I've just got a small belly. I've got a bit of a belly. I've not got anything else. At quite a significantly high body weight. So I think that a lot of times Asian men are in denial. And the other thing we see as well, that they'll be overweight for many, many years. Like, and I always use this example, like a pot-bellied Uncle G, because growing up, like when I was a teenager, I never thought that I would grow up to look like some of my dad's friends, at the time. But now many guys my age look like that. And and sometimes for years they let it just continue for years. So one of my business coaches, when I he said to me when I was getting into this, and he said, "Look, don't work with the Asian market." He goes, "They're not bothered."
I mean, I hear that all the time, and I think where you just said Asian men are in denial, so are Asian females. And when I came in the fitness industry, it was very unusual. I'm sure you had to work really hard to get your message out to a community that doesn't take fitness as a priority. And then also when we look at the divorce rate in our community, it's quite high because with our own self, we don't have a good relationship. So how on earth do people connect with one another when they're not feeling good about themselves? Thank you so much for sharing that. I have a really beautiful message for you, Adam. Thank you so much to the viewer. I just wanted to say Adam's content is essential knowledge for every Muslim man out there. Please make sure you follow Adam on Fit Dad on Instagram. What is it called? Fit Dad?
Life Mastery.
Life Mastery.
Life Mastery, because we cover life aspects and everything else as well.
Alhamdulillah. And they also said, I've been following Adam's content for a while, and now my life has changed completely in the last 6 months. Kudos to you, Adam, and that is amazing. Thank you so much to the viewer. Question 2, I'm thinner now than I was when I got married. And because my wife and I have been doing things together, like walking, like cooking, my wife has also lost her pre-baby weight from just doing things together, mashallah. I think it's so important for partners to do everyday activities because you're raising those endorphins, the serotonins, the happy chemicals, the oxytocin. That is the true meaning of companionship. I want to ask you something personal, like when in your own relationship, what do you think works really well? What is the building catalyst in your relationship, Adam? Especially you being a fitness coach.
well, beyond anything else, it's understanding, having a similar understanding about pretty much everything, whether it's faith. So you might see these memes where, people talk about, like, people's harams levels have to be the same. So my wife and I, when it comes to our understanding of faith and religion, we're on a similar plane. When it comes to general understanding about societal things, we have a similar understanding. Plus, she trains, I train, she goes to the gym, I do. We eat healthy, we go for hikes, walks. So all of that together, we have a lot in common, and that's what makes it work.
Amazing. And we also have a comment from one of your clients. Our marriage has really grown. So I'm thankful for Adam's program. It's essential knowledge for the Muslim community. You have a lot of fans out there. I'm so impressed, and I'm not surprised one bit. Right. we are soon coming out of lockdown and gyms are opening very soon, but we'll be going into Ramadan. We've covered a lot of conversations in the past about giving people tips about going out and looking for love. What would your top advice be for people starting their fitness journey?
Start with something that's manageable. Start with something small that's manageable. Now, the issue is when you start with something manageable, the reason people give up or they don't see results is because they don't stack. So what I mean by that is, let's say something as simple as you're going to start drinking more water, but just that on its own is not enough to get you a result. So you're going to start drinking more water, then next you might start eating a healthy breakfast. Then you might start eating a healthy lunch, because just eating a healthy breakfast on its own won't be enough. Just walking 1,000 steps won't be enough, but you need to keep stacking and building on those. Then within 2 to 3, 4 or 4 months, after you stacked a habit on top of a habit on top of a habit on top of a habit, that's how your whole lifestyle will change, and it will be a permanent change, as opposed to like keto was mentioned, or any such diets that's what's temporary, where you're doing loads of things and it's temporary, and then once you come off it, you go back to square one. If you do it this way, it becomes a gradual change, but it's a complete lifestyle change. And when your lifestyles change, that's when you get a permanent result.
I have a saying to my viewers as well. If you're lacking motivation, if you're lacking being productive, always wake up and make sure you make your bed. That's the first thing that you do. Because what it does, it triggers, when we complete something off, our brain rewards us. So making your bed, making sure you have breakfast, and setting the tone for the rest of the day is so fun. It's so underrated how the morning ritual is imperative to our health and fitness as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. I actually have a morning routine built into my program as well. The Fit Dad Life Mastery morning routine, how to feel energized and connect with your faith and your creator. Pretty cool. You'll see it. I've got snippets of it on my Facebook page anyway. And I do quite a detailed morning routine.
Amazing. You're gonna have all the fit dads out and about with six packs soon, I'm sure. Well, I hope so.
Inshallah.
Or I hope they take some action by watching this. Okay, we're nearly coming to an end. I want to quickly touch on Ramadan. How important is fitness during Ramadan then for you?
For me, I train throughout the year, and for me, Ramadan is a time to contract. And so for me, it's just maintenance during Ramadan. However, I do feel you should do some light exercise just to feel energized. And just to feel, like I said, the happy chemicals. And it's counterintuitive, but doing some light exercise will actually help you feel more energized during the day, as opposed to not doing anything. But for weight loss, Ramadan is very, very conducive because it's easy to achieve a calorie deficit. And walking, if you've never exercised, walking is a fantastic thing to start doing in Ramadan, in addition to obviously eating healthy. But for myself, somebody who's been building muscle for many years, Ramadan is difficult to weight train in, and unless I weight train, you lose muscle. So for me, Ramadan is just to try and maintain. It's not to set any personal records or anything like that. It's just to maintain. If, however, you're starting on your fitness journey, good food choices, and start a walking habit and building that up.
I was saying to somebody the other day, like, where we have fasting coming up, it enhances a lot of our emotions as well when we're in a state of no food and water. And especially with the lockdown and the PTSD that a lot of people might be facing, fasting may be a beautiful place to reset your habits as well, right?
Of course, absolutely. Absolutely,
Fantastic.
Yeah. I think one thing fasting teaches us is that you don't need to snack all day. We don't need the amount of food that we think we need. People survive for one meal a day, and it's just, I think we are conditioned to overeat and eat more than we need to. Fasting teaches us that we don't need it.
And it's amazing how the body and the mind adapts within a turnaround of 24 hours, isn't it?
Of course, of course.
What keeps you motivated then, Adam?
For me, with anybody, you have a why, and you have to have a why that's stronger or greater than yourself. And I often say to dads that, look, most people approach, or they want a six pack, or they just want to lose a belly. But if that is if that's the only thing that you're after, and you haven't dug deep for what I call your emotional triggers, if your why is really, really weak, then you're gonna fall at the first hurdle. So as soon as the first obstacle comes along, forget it. I don't need this. But if you make your why bigger than yourself, and you tie it to your finances, you tie it to your family, you tie it to your faith, and I use this model. I call it the 3F model of motivation. So if you tie it to those things, then you'll find that it's much, much easier to sustain motivation. It's because you're now working on intrinsic motivation rather than waiting for somebody to hand you motivation on a plate, which doesn't happen, by the way, or looking at a YouTube video that gives you motivation, which is extremely fickle, that only lasts till dinner time. By working on your intrinsic motivation is where you ignite that fire that is, that stays alive all the time. And once again, when it comes to faith and being British Muslim TV, many viewers are going to be practicing Muslims, and when it comes to your faith, there's verses in the Quran like kulu washrabu wala tusrifu, eat and drink, don't eat and drink to excess, don't go to excess. Sorry, there's those verses, and I've mentioned this a few times. Yep.
Adam, I am coming to the end of the show. I am so sorry to cut you off. Thank you so much for coming on. And it's been a pleasure for me, Nazia Khatun, along with the whole team at British Muslim TV. Thank you for joining us. Assalamu alaikum.
With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.